Live from Modain, it is Hanok Young and the Israel update for the day before Thanksgiving. And Hanok, we were just talking about this, how there
Yeah.
is actually a physical reason why there's not much celebration of Thanksgiving in Israel. Could you tell us why that is?
Okay. Well, the first reason, it should be the most obvious, is it's an American holiday,
Ah,
and
yes,
there's such a small percentage of Israelis of American descent. However, the big thing about America, as all of our listeners in the U.S. will relate to, is you make this big turkey. Well, the thing is, we have tiny little ovens. Big turkey, tiny little ovens doesn't work. And of course, Thursday, which is tomorrow,
yes,
is a regular work day for us because, again, it's not our holiday. But religious Israeli former Americans will often do a sort of pseudo Thanksgiving Shabbat. I will see my daughter Ayala, and she will be bringing, she bought for some charitable donation a pumpkin pie, which also is not a thing here in Israel.
true.
So it's yeah, but I don't have any shreds of any turkeys in the house. But hey,
Yeah,
such is life.
but the thing is, you guys do eat more turkey per capita than I think
Than
any
anywhere
other
else in the
country.
world.
So,
Yeah,
you know, I
no,
mean,
that's pretty amazing.
yeah, and you could probably do some like pumpkin
And
halva or something.
yeah, that so doesn't sound appealing at all. I mean, it would be as appealing to me as pumpkin kanafi for you. Just kind of like that doesn't work.
Well, I had a choice of
Uh,
going with the pumpkin halva or the pumpkin kanafi, and I just decided to go with the halva. And we were really going through withdrawals here, or we're about to, because we brought back quite a bit of halva from the land, and I think we're on the last little piece, and it's like, which one of us dare eat that piece and admit to the other one that it's gone.
that- that- you're the one that took it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got to tell you,
yeah,
I agree. That's a tough position to be in.
it is. Well,
Uh,
hey, on a serious note, woke up this
yeah,
morning to, of course, a couple of bombs going off in Israel. Could you give
yeah,
us a little update on that?
sure. Well, the first thing this morning when I got up, and most days, sadly, I get up before my alarm. I turn off the alarm, and the first thing I notice is if I get any WhatsApp messages.
Hmm.
And there's one from Ayala, who lives in Jerusalem. I'm just, telling our audience. And it said the following: I am fine, am at work.
Hmm.
Now that's code in Israel for there was a terrorist attack near my normal route of travel. Don't worry, I'm fine.
Wow.
And then before I even responded, I immediately went over to the news. And the the injuries were primarily at a bus stop. I'm trying to, for our listeners who've taken a bus or driven into Jerusalem, up in the area of the central bus station, the
Hmm.
Bridge of Strings.
Hmm.
You're coming up the hill, you've got that gas station on your left.
Yeah.
Before you get to the Bridge of Strings, on your right is a bus stop. It's an ultra Orthodox neighborhood. Lots of kids going by all the time. That's where that bomb was.
Okay.
Um, it's a route that I go past whenever I take a bus into Jerusalem. And I was just there last night late because um, my day of guiding finished late. I missed the train going home. I then missed the bus by 15 seconds and
Oh,
then had to wait another half hour. But that's a very heavily trafficked route.
Yeah, I looked at
So I
the
saw the last
I
update
was
is
looking at the pictures this morning, and I was trying to figure out where, in my mind where that was. And interesting enough, I actually got it pretty close. So yeah, that's I was thinking about you and
it's
also Ayala, who, that's your stomping ground
yeah,
there.
it's it's kind of like here we go again. It appears from initial reports that after a number of years of not having any package or parcel explosives going off on our buses, it's been 2 decades. Baruch Hashem, thank God. Um, People aren't as readily able, they're not used to noticing if there's a package left.
Yeah,
These were remote control detonated, which is a new level of sophistication.
yeah.
And of course, all stops are out with our security services to get to the bottom of this before this becomes another horrific trend. But it's interesting because I had to travel through Tel Aviv today for meetings. And on the way back, it's strange because I was actually in Bnei Brak. So it's like, think of Tel Aviv, Ramat Gan, Bnei Brak,
Mm.
but it's all part of like one big thing. The bus route was 45 minutes to get to the train station to get me back to Modi'in, or to 7 minutes by taxi. So I got a taxi. It was a Haredi driver, an ultra
Mm.
Orthodox driver. And we, of course, start talking. He hears my accent and he assumes that I live in Jerusalem. Well, first of all, he assumed I was a tourist, which after I hit him a few times, no, I didn't, of course. I did think of it though. He just assumed I live in Jerusalem. So I said, Modine, do you ever travel into Jerusalem? I said, yeah, like and when I'm not with a tour group in another location in the country, I'm either guiding in Jerusalem or picking people up in Jerusalem and going somewhere. So we start talking about the terror attack. And I mentioned to him that in America, I had been a student of Rav Meir Kahana.
Mm.
And I said, of course, in Hebrew, Hashem Yikavom, God avenges blood. So he looks in the mirror and then he turns around and all he keeps repeating is Kahana Tzadak. Kahana was right.
Yeah.
Kahana was right. These terror attacks are not done by oppressed individuals who have no jobs, who have no future. This is like martyrdom 101. You get to kill Jews, you become a hero. Again, remembering these are the very people that when the death toll was mounting on 9/11 in the US, in New York City, in Washington, in Pennsylvania, they were the ones going around giving out sweets. I mean,
Yeah.
this is not, well, there's a legitimate claim to the land. There's no claim to the land.
We saw that with some of our folks on the Connect tour. Ended up going, we were down in the old city. They took a taxi up to the Lev Yerushalayim Hotel. And, it used to be that, you get a cab, and if it was an Arab driver, they were, actually kind of cordial. It was just a typical taxi ride. This one, the guy was just militant. When he found out there were tourists, it was, just this bombardment of harassment. Ended up that they had been told 120 shekels for the ride, which is, in my opinion, is still ridiculous. The whole way he's talking to him about my poor family, and I'm not gonna be able to feed my family, and yeah, and then brings up this Muslim stuff, and they ended up having to pay 200 shekels to get out of the taxi. It's a good thing I wasn't there. It would have been a little different, but this militancy, this empowerment, and we've talked about this for a long time. It seems that evil is being emboldened. We saw the other news report was a shooting in a Walmart in Chesapeake, Virginia, of all places.
It's I just keep thinking of those lyrics. It's the end of the world as we know it.
Mm.
I mean, it seems that the entire world has gone off kilter. You just look at Russia, Ukraine, you look at China, Taiwan, you look at just about every state in the US. It's no longer shocking to hear that there's an active shooter situation
Oh no.
in place X. I mean, it's not, and again, we're not talking about downtown Philadelphia. We're not talking about Washington, D.C. or Manhattan. You know, anyway,
Yeah, I mean, it goes
it's
back
astounding.
to the Torah portion we went through just a few weeks ago was of Noach, and it says that Hamas or violence filled the earth in that day, and we
Yeah.
are looking at the same thing happen. It's here.
Yeah,
We're in
it's
the
no
midst of
no
it.
coincidence.
No.
Now, tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, I'm guiding a group up on the Harabayit on the Temple Mount, and it'll be very interesting to see what the vibe, what the situation, what our security forces are doing.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Have you been up to the Harabite, the Temple Mount, since our group was there?
No, no, which was actually 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago tomorrow. And, of course,
Yeah,
there was a terrorist attack then. Since then, we've seen the attack in Ariel. We bring up this thing of these are not oppressed people. This attack at in the industrial district in Ariel, this is a person that had a job, had a good job,
he was a young guy, had a good job, had a work permit,
yeah,
and there were,
was paid the
yeah,
exact same as the Israeli sitting next to him.
yeah,
There's no difference. There's no apartheid there. Um, this is equal footing for everyone, at
right.
least in the Israeli controlled areas. I mean, I to give people an example, you were just told by security forces that you're no longer allowed to guide in Bethlehem.
Yeah, not me personally, but that tour guides, Israeli tour guides, and Israeli bus drivers. So, in other words, so yeah, because of the fear that we would be kidnapped or attacked. Now, this is Bethlehem, Beit Lechem, which has always been kind of this weird island where, like, neither fish nor fowl. So I preempted the come. Now, I was only scheduled in December for 2 days, 2 days to guide there. I have very little availability, Baruch Hashem, thank God. And what they decided to do was they would leave the guide outside of Bethlehem, go in and get their local guide for the Church of the Nativity. They go and they take them for an expensive lunch. They shop in the store and then they leave. And then I would pick them up again, take them to the Dead Sea after having done the Old City in the morning, Old City of Jerusalem. And I said, no, because that means for 2 or 2.5 hours, I'm sitting outside, which today, I mean, it's like in Fahrenheit temperatures, it's like low to mid 70s today. It's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
But my luck, that's going to be the day that's going to be rainy and windy. And I'm going to be sitting in a field by myself saying, and how much are they paying me for this? So
Yeah.
I don't miss going into Beit Lechem until it's restored to our control. I have made, it's may God bless and keep them far away from me.
Yeah,
I did have a
you
chance
say
to,
that you say it would be it'd be windy and rainy. No, knowing you, it would be snowing, hail. It would be an ice storm, and
yeah,
yeah, it would be different. But here's the
not
interesting
good.
part of that, Hanok, is that
Yes.
prior to the Intifada, the Oslo War of the early 2000s, there were Christians in Bethlehem, there were Jews in Bethlehem, there was mutual respect in many ways. People were getting along. The economy was booming in that area, and then all of a sudden, all the Jews have to leave. Most of the so-called Christians, and that's a subject in itself that people don't understand, that Palestinian Christian is this is not your local Southern Baptist church. Okay, let's just put it like that. But I had talked to Palestinian Arabs that had shops in Bethlehem that had left and said, we wish that Israel would take over control again, because they were pushed out.
The Christian community is interested in earning a living.
Mm-hmm.
They are primarily in the tourism business, so this is really a tremendous crunch to them. During the 2 years of COVID, they too were not able to stay open. Very, very difficult situation. But it kind of is what it is. In the meantime, earlier this week, I guess it was, Sunday, I was back in Shomron again, back at Har Kabir, Mount Kabir, in a different winery this time, which was interesting in and of itself. And it was just, I feel like E.T., like home. And it's just wonderful. And again, a number of people have sent me notes, asking about, Connect 2023. And it's interesting because I keep saying, just because you haven't sent in the deposit yet, don't worry. Have that money ready, because when Mike and I let y'all know, it's going to go, and it's going to go fast.
Yeah. And we are working on that. We're trying to do some things to update the tour to make it even better. And so just patience, please, along the way, and we will have that out as soon as possible. It continues to be astounding to me how few tours, even Hebrew roots style tours, go up to the Shomron.
It's incredibly disappointing.
Yeah,
it's incredibly disappointing.
We spend our first couple of days there. I got a text or a message from one of the people that was on our tour, M, and she sent a message to me last week. I don't think I read it on this program, and it says, she had some people coming in. She's trying to kind of decompress from the tour and put it all together. And she said, I couldn't help but notice how empty things are when we're not in the land, when we're not connected to it spiritually, when God isn't there waiting around every corner with something special. It has really made me yearn for the land. I understand how you and Kathy feel. I think that Embriette just nailed it here, of what we experienced on the tour was that the Almighty was there around every corner that we walked around. It was like, here, I want to show myself to you. And that's what we experienced there.
Yeah, it's staggering. It's staggering.
It is.
But this is where we're in the wilderness, if you will. And this is where it's not the time to sit and say, you know what, I'm going to get used to where I am, and I'm going to pound those tent pegs really deep, and I'm just going to put up it. No. This is the time to say, okay, by now, I would imagine that everybody in our group is now over jet lag, or at least close to it. So now's the time to begin planning the next time.
Well, hold on. It's fascinating. I said I said on my program yesterday, on Living Torah yesterday, that I'm going to make myself a mental note, something that I have forgotten to do in 31 trips. 30 of those times I've forgotten to go back to this mental note. When you come back from Israel and it hasn't just been the typical Holy Land, experience the Holy Land kind of thing, but the connections, and that's why we call it Connect Israel Tour, because of the connections, connecting with the land, the people, the God of Israel. The jet lag is the easiest thing to get over for me. That takes a few days. Okay, you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you get a lot done, you take a nap about 2. No big deal. But I it finally dawned on me as I think back over all of the tours. Probably, I think I counted that I've actually led or co-led 14 tours now. And then the other trips that I've done on my own and working with Hayavel and various things. When I come back from Israel, the jet lag I get over in about 3 or 4 days. The depression takes me about 2 weeks.
I think that's a fair statement to make, Mike. I really do. Um, you know, and for me, as always, on a personal level, it's the brachot and the klalot, the blessings and the curses. I go through this tremendous withdrawal, and then I realize it also takes about 2 weeks for me to begin to realize, but I still have the bracha of being here.
Yeah.
I'm not with the people I want to be with the most here in Israel, but I'm still here. So in other words, I still have my list of tasks of things that I need to do. And as we work on preparing for next year's tour, and hopefully Hashem will bless us with the opportunity to do many, many, many more and multiple ones over the course of the year and different variations over all this great stuff. But it is there is an ache, there is an emptiness, there is a sense of, so wait a second, so this is what Shabbat is like back home. Okay, Shabbat's over, I can't go to Machane Yehuda, I can't go to Ben Yehuda Street. Yeah, sure, you can dash me off a note, I'll run down and give Yuval a message next time I'm in Jerusalem. Sure thing, of course. There was something you wanted to get from Udi but didn't get a chance to? Absolutely. You thought of an answer to a question that Moshe Kopinski asked you? I'll be happy to give the message. Admitting, and we both know it, it's not the same thing.
No, no. And there is a reason why we are in Yerushalayim on Shabbat. We actually talked to the tour group, our Connect group, about this when we were in Tamar, that it would be much easier for us to rearrange our tour and spend Shabbat somewhere else. But
Sure.
we feel it is important for people, especially those that are in Israel for their first time, that their first Shabbat in Israel is in Yerushalayim. We had people go down to the wall. We had people go to the synagogue. We had people that were, the experience of being there in Yerushalayim.
Absolutely.
We feel is very, very important.
And I always quickly add on to that, several hours before Shabbat starts, as it begins to hit 2:30, 3 o'clock, and you're in the center of town at Lev Yerushalayim, and you're looking out the window and you see less and less traffic, the sun beginning to set,
Yeah.
and the quiet and the peace, contrasted with it's now Motzei Shabbat, Saturday night, Shabbat is over, and everything comes alive.
Yeah.
And you are a 5 to 6 minute walk from all of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean,
It doesn't get any better.
Yeah, literally
Doesn't
going
get any
from
better.
the hotel we're in to Ben Yehuda Street is it's literally across the street. And
You could fall down the hill. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
roll.
And going to the 24/6 store. Many people this time, we got so many pictures of the sign that
I
that's
saw
the
that.
grocery store that's like a,
And,
instead of 24/7, it's 24/6 because they're closed on
and
Shabbat.
what's funny is I cannot tell you how many dozens of times over the years I've walked past it and never ever noticed that.
You're kidding.
But yeah, no, seriously, because many things are 24/6. It just we and that's the thing. It's not just Shabbat for the religious community here.
Yeah.
It's everyone's Shabbat. Whatever they do or don't do with it is their issue. It's their relationship with Hashem. It's not, they're not trying to please me. So I never noticed that.
Yeah. And on the other side of this, something that is grievous to me, and we need to end up here. Yeah, I've been going to Israel for 24 years now, and I remember my first few tours, there was nobody on the road. But now you see people driving, and of course this is I would imagine mostly Arab. There's the light rail's not running, the buses are not running, all
Even
that.
on Shabbat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there is
There's
still
more traffic.
there is more of a defilement of Shabbat today. It seems like it's just kind of trying to, and it's the whole thing about the terrorism, everything else. It's encroaching in to the holiness of that place. So that'd be a long discussion for another day.
Absolutely. On a happy note, have a great week. Enjoy it. Catch up with you soon. And everyone listening should be saying, I will want to go to Israel next year with Mike and Hanoch.
There you go. Give my one of my favorite people in Israel a hug, please. And
Yeah, I know that's not me, but that's okay.
Yeah,
That's
it's your
okay.
daughter. It's definitely your daughter. And give her a hug for me. Enjoy your pumpkin pie. And maybe in light of this, this day, you can have a turkey schnitzel or something just for old time's sake.
Old time's sake. Maybe turkey neck soup.
Okay.
Take care, Mike.
Take care. See ya.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.